I 22F found out my boyfriend 22M had sex with his dying friend. Trigger warning, death, infidelity, possible sexual assault. I wouldn't have found out if one of our mutual friends didn't slip. My boyfriend and the girl did it when they were on vacation with other friends. She had a terminal illness and is dead now. I'm confident that he was never attracted to her. They never had a relationship beyond that. She did have a secret crush on him though. She was the little sister of their friend group. This incident happened late November or December 2021. She died in March 2022. He was visiting the hospital when she died. He's never had a death in his life before, so it really shook him. For the past year, his mental health has been very unwell. It's not solely because of her death, but it was the catalyst. He rarely, if ever, talks about his feelings except with me. I hate myself because I get angry inside whenever he mentions her. I can't express my jealousy because she's dead anyway. This jealousy is eating me up. I just know that it wasn't just sex. They totally had emotional sex because of her condition. I don't even know who initiated it. It was probably something like how she didn't want to die, AV, my boyfriend and I had never even had sex all the way then. To clarify, he didn't lose his virginity to her, but she did lose her virginity to him. We have an otherwise perfect relationship. He's always been a good boyfriend even when he's at his lowest now. I had bad episodes before and the lowest of low points. He was the first who stood by me. My family is strict and didn't approve of us, but he tried hard to win even my extended family over. We've been together for more than 3 years and have known each other since high school. No history of infidelity from both parties. I don't know if I can talk to him about this. I don't want to push him to the brink. But I'm also afraid that he might be dismissive of my feelings. What to do? Edit. I'm ready for the downvotes with this edit. I really mean it when I said that he stood by me. He practically fought to get me to keep living more than once. His poor mental health, to put it mildly, is the first time this happened. We were also best friends before we ended up together. I think it's unfair to be so black and white about this. Sorry for the edit. I understand and am considering the breakup advices. The rude replies just irk me. Edit 2. The replies have several insults already. This sub needs to be moderated better. Out of everyone, only one Redditor brought up that the sex might not be consensual. That crossed my mind too, which is part of why I feel bad about jealous/angry about this. More info about the vacation I didn't get to post. Other friends planned it with some help from the girl. She wanted to go to that place for a long time. There were 7 of them including my BF and the girl. It lasted for 3 days and 2 nights. He asked me to come with when he was invited, but I declined. Beach getaways aren't my thing. I know it was supposed to be a getaway trip for the girl. I was only acquaintances with the rest and I didn't want to intrude on her final trip with friends. Comments, I'm confused too. If he had sex with her while you two were together, it's still cheating. And you need to leave. If he had sex with her before you two knew each other or became a couple, he's not at fault. You can still feel uncomfortable and jealous, but you'll have to learn to not think about it and forget in the sense that you can't fault him for who he was with before you two were together. It wouldn't be fair for your relationship, P replied. We were already together when they slept with each other, so yes, it's cheating. I wasn't close with the girl, but I do know her. I can't even fault her for having sex with him because she's already dead. I don't think he'll ever cheat again. It's just not in him and he has never showed attraction to any other men/women before. Like aside from a celebrity crush or two there is nobody. He's more of a hopeless romantic than I am. But I do admit that what happened keeps popping up on my mind. I don't know why, but maybe because I feel that he didn't trust me enough to tell me. Or maybe because he thought/agreed to doing that in the first place. It's really been bothering me. I don't know how to talk to him about it. Comment. Did you give him permission? Oh, P replied. No. I only found out recently through one of our friends. That friend thought I knew already. Apparently, it was a spur-of-the-moment thing. Our mutual friend was at the vacation. He found out afterwards, but in that time frame. He said he doesn't want to talk about it anymore because it's not his business, lol. He did say that the girl is dead already anyway and my boyfriend remained loyal to me after it. I don't know. The dead girl wasn't my friend, but I did know her BTW. She also knew that I'm in a relationship with him. Comment. The fact that mutual friends know and did not tell you would be enough to end it for me. His friends conspired with him to keep this a secret. He had no intention of telling you, Op replied. Only 2 friends know. The mutual friend thought I knew already. He kinda panicked when he slipped TBH. The other friend is someone I'm just acquaintances with. We don't even have each other's numbers and socials. She wasn't in the vacation too. The mutual friend panicked after I told him that I didn't know. It was in the same conversation where he accidentally slipped. We've been in a relationship for more than 3 years now but have known each other since high school. We haven't slept together yet when that happened with the girl. We did things already back then but not all the way yet. We've had sex several times now. The girl wasn't his first time BTW. But he was my first and the girl's. Worth noting that we aren't Westerners. The girl was Catholic as in she studied in an all-girls school Catholic school lol. My boyfriend and I are both agnostic. I wasn't saving myself for marriage but doing it all the way still felt too soon for me. I grew up in a strict, conservative family so I probably had reservations because of that. It's confusing to me too. Update. I couldn't take it anymore, so I talked to him immediately. It's not an angry or accusatory conversation, just very emotionally draining for both parties, lol. I asked him as many questions as I could. So he said that he regretted it immediately, but he can't fault his friend much more out of compassion for her illness. He didn't tell me because he didn't know how I'd react and was afraid that I'd dump him. He didn't want to hurt me, but he did anyway because he didn't talk until now. The guilt is part of why his mental health is awful. He said he keeps feeling more guilty, especially every time we're together, when he talks about his mental health and I support him, etc. It is true that he is mourning her, but ATP, it's more that he is distraught over betraying the one he wants to spend his life with, his words. We sound like we're on a soap opera or a Wattpad story. He didn't know how to talk about the latter, so he covered it up with mourning her when we talked back then. My BF said that if he could, he would have asked me for permission then. He would have respected my decision and wouldn't have done it. Though a part of him would also feel guilty about not fulfilling his friend's wish when she dies. He added that he believes that it would be later outweighed by our relationship/feelings for me though. When I asked him if the sex was emotional for him, he admitted that it was because they were close friends and she was dying. He only did it because of their platonic relationship and her impending death. He wouldn't have done it in other circumstances. It wasn't romantic for him. As for who initiated it, was the girl. He was tipsy but not drunk. She kissed him and made the first move. He knew that she had a crush on him. He was never in love with her, never attracted, never saw her as a partner even after what happened, etc. It was spur of the moment because of strong emotions. He didn't get to ask me for permission because it happened exactly at that moment. She didn't directly tell him to fuck her, but she confessed her feelings for him after kissing him and touching him. He confessed to me that he felt kinda awkward around her afterwards, but he tried to move past that because they were friends, and she was literally dying, lol. I think it's so messed up that sleeping with him specifically was one of the dying girl's dreams. Maybe she just didn't care anymore because she was going to leave us anyway. I'm still conflicted. She wasn't even AB when she was alive. The girl is dead. I'm alive and with my boyfriend. What more can I do to her? Honestly, I feel like I tainted his memories of her too. They were good friends then, and now she would be remembered as that girl who ruined our relationship. I feel bad about that too. I asked him if he would have told me what happened and he said he didn't know. He might take it to the grave because he wants to forget it even happened. But he also said that he might have told me when he felt confident enough to do so. Either way, he regrets not telling me immediately what happened. I tried to ask him if he thinks she planned the trip or planned to be alone with him to get him to sleep with her, but he didn't let me finish. Unlike with other questions, he got angry. I think he doesn't want to face that he might have been assaulted, especially by a friend who died. His mental health is awful already and this is a heavy subject, so I didn't ask more about that angle yet. I asked him if he slept with her again after that or with other people. He said no. I asked what if he had another dying friend after this. He said he won't do it again given how much it affected us in our relationship. Especially because he didn't want me to be this hurt again. He said it's not worth it, etc. Another thing I asked him was what would have happened if the girl got cured after they did it. He said that it would have ruined their friendship or it would take a lot of time for him to forgive her. He said she shouldn't have brought that up in the first place. I asked him if he would have dumped me for her and he said never, even if she was dying already. I don't know why I ever thought that he'd be dismissive of my feelings. He's always been supportive of me before this. I feel bad for doubting him, lol, in our talk. My BF said he'd do anything to gain my trust back again. He kept apologizing and asked me to stay with him. At the same time, he said that he understands my POV. He wouldn't blame me if I left him and never forgave him because he's aware of his betrayal. He said that it still counted as cheating and it was wrong, etc. When I say in this post that I feel bad about feeling certain things, he didn't gaslight or manipulate me into it. He was reassuring me that what I feel is valid. I also talked to the two friends who know about this issue. Apparently, our mutual friend didn't tell my BF that I found out. He said he didn't want to get involved but would support both of us either way. I asked him if their friend group was drinking on the trip. He said the group did on various degrees and times. Like even when just playing chess or watching a movie. Our friend didn't drink except once because he's a lightweight. The girl didn't drink too because she's sick. I asked him if he thought it was possible that my BF was drunk when it happened. I think this is the first time our friend considered that, because he stopped for a bit then said, probably. The one I'm not close with didn't know a lot of details. But she gave him an earful when he told her that he slept with the girl during the trip. She just didn't ask for more details because she didn't want to get very involved too. My BF didn't explicitly ask them to hide this from me, nor did he ask them to tell me. At least I know my BF's side now. I think a cool off is the middle point of the dump him/reconsider advice I got. I can feel how contrite it is and the scenario was too sketchy. We'll do what we can to work on things. We still love each other so much. Thank you once again for the advice and support. Edit. I'm ready for the downvotes and name calling here. Lots of people are filling in the blanks on what happened and what didn't. How my conversations with him and the friends went, etc. There are other things in play that I didn't put in my post. I just didn't include everything, because this post is long as it is and some details are too personal to divulge. I posted because I think I owe the sub update, which I realize is now wrong too, I guess. Anyway, I'm inclined to believe that yes, this was cheating, but I doubt it was enthusiastic consent. Yes, he put the girl's feelings over mine. But again, that's a girl who faced her impending death. He genuinely thought he was doing his friend a favor. We're experiencing the consequences of that action now, but I know that it didn't come from a place of malice, to people saying I'm making out the girl to be a rapist or that I completely hate her. Then you're completely wrong. It's not exactly the same, but due to past experiences, I know how precious life is. I understand where she was coming from. She was a nice girl in the times I've met her, most of which happened before she diagnosed. You all have no idea how traumatizing it was for her and everyone around her to see such a vibrant girl with so much potential wither before your eyes. Call me a cuck, but I actually would have said yes if both of them talked to me. Comments. If nothing else, he proved he has awful judgment. Just absolute shit decision-making skills. I would not want to build a life with someone who did this, OP replied. Out of the top comments so far, I agree with this. I don't think he's a cheater. It's more that he has shit decision-making skills, too much of a people-pleaser, doesn't know how to enforce boundaries, and gets stuck in his own head a lot. All of that tracks with what I've known about him in years, including when we weren't dating yet. Comment. What the hell is a cheater? Are we pretending it's not cheating, and it's just shit decision-making skills? OP replied. By that, I meant a serial cheater or someone with a wandering eye. Sleeping with your dying friend who comes to you in tears because she wants to be with you before she dies is not the same as sleeping with your coworker while you're on a business trip. I'm not disagreeing that my boyfriend cheated. I'm just saying that it had to do more with the girl's predicament than his libido. Still wrong, but the circumstances aren't comparable. Comment. The cooling off period that the two of you agreed to sounds like a good idea. In a sad way, your BF sounds like a compassionate person. Let things cool down with space between the two of you, then decide whether you want to reconcile or split up. You may want to keep an eye, through your common friends, on whether his depression improves. If his action with the dying woman and not telling you was what was driving him down, that should improve. Good luck to you, regardless of what route you take on the future of the relationship. In a sad way, your boyfriend sounds like a compassionate person, OP replied. I will get downvoted to hell for this, but this is one of his fatal flaws. He's too idealistic for his own good. He stretches himself too thin for other people, pretends to be fine all the time, doesn't talk when things are already making him uncomfortable, etc. Comment. In a traumatic situation, is he a freezer? I freeze. I let what happens happen. OP replied, with what's going on with his mental health, if she came into him strongly and he hadn't been sober. I wouldn't say that he's a freezer. It's more like he goes on autopilot and does whatever is needed to get things over with, fix things, or comfort/please the other party as needed. He only breaks down when he's actually alone and things begin to sink in. It's not far-fetched for me that he went along with whatever was happening and just wanted to please her then. His friend was already touching him while confessing her love and telling him that she was a virgin. Said friend only had a few months left to live. It didn't take a genius to figure out what she wanted from him. I keep saying this, but God, I don't want to paint the girl as a seductress other woman villain. She was dying and lived a very sheltered life before that. Abstinence was her only sex education, so I have no doubt that she didn't know that what she did was improper. I really don't think she would have done that if her situation wasn't so drastic. She's been into him for a while but only made a move when she was on her deathbed. People are saying that this is me deluding myself, but whatever. I've known everyone in this story for years compared to these people who've only read 2 Reddit posts and my replies.